Have you ever had everything fall apart at once? Not one thing, everything. The relationship ended, the opportunity disappeared, the plan collapsed, the person you trusted walked away, and suddenly you're sitting there asking the only question that makes sense in that moment. Why is this happening to me? Not with curiosity, with exhaustion, because you tried, you were patient, you stayed loyal, you gave effort where others would have quit, and somehow it still fell apart. But what if the moments that feel like destruction are actually the moments life is protecting you the most? Not despite the pain, but through it. The Stoics understood something about suffering that most people only discover much later in life. Obstacles are not interruptions to your path. They are the path. And today, we're going to look at 8 signs life is protecting you, even when every emotion in your body says the opposite. Stay with me, because sign 5 is the one most people misunderstand for years. Sign 1. The door didn't just close. It closed for you. Think about the last thing that didn't work out, the job you didn't get, the relationship that ended before you were ready, the opportunity that slipped through your hands. In the moment, it feels like rejection, like you weren't good enough. But Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, not with resignation, with perspective." Because time has a strange way of revealing something important. The door that closed was often protecting you from a room you were never meant to stay in. Think back 5 years. Is there something you desperately wanted back then? A job, a relationship, a plan, that you are now quietly grateful never happened? Almost everyone has that story. The breakup that pushed you to grow, the rejection that redirected your career, the failure that forced you to discover what you were truly capable of. Closed doors are rarely the end. They are redirection. But redirection always feels like loss when you're still standing at the door. Sign 2, you're being slowed down before a collision. Sometimes life doesn't shut the door, it delays you. Plans stall, timelines stretch, things move slower than you desperately want them to, and frustration begins to build. You feel stuck. But consider this. Have you ever been running late somewhere, annoyed, impatient, only to later discover something happened on the route you would have taken? An accident, a delay, a problem you unknowingly avoided. Suddenly that delay looks very different. Seneca once wrote something powerful. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. In the moment, delay feels like failure. But sometimes life slows you down because it can see the collision ahead that you cannot. The Stoic learned something most people resist. Not every delay is denial. Some delays are protection. Sign 3. The wrong people are leaving. This one hurts the most because it feels personal. A friend stops calling. A partner walks away. Someone you trusted becomes distant. And suddenly the silence they leave behind feels louder than any argument. But the Stoics warned about something we rarely notice. We often suffer not because people leave, but because we expected them to stay forever. Epictetus taught that peace begins when we stop trying to control what was never ours to keep. People enter our lives for different seasons. Some build us, some challenge us, some simply reveal who we are becoming. But not everyone who walked with you in one chapter is meant to walk with you into the next. Sometimes the person leaving your life is not abandonment, it is alignment. Life quietly removing what no longer fits so that what does fit can eventually arrive. Sign 4, you're being pushed toward yourself. Sometimes protection doesn't look like opportunity, it looks like solitude. The relationship ends, the friend group fades, the distractions disappear, and suddenly you're left alone with something most people avoid their entire lives, themselves, silence, stillness, time to think. At first, this feels uncomfortable. But Marcus Aurelius spent many of his quiet moments writing the thoughts that later became meditations, wisdom that has guided millions of people for nearly 2,000 years. He wrote, "Confine yourself to the present, not the past you're replaying, not the future you're fearing, the present moment. Because the truth is this: solitude is where clarity lives, and clarity is where real power begins. When life pushes you inward, it is not abandoning you, it is introducing you to the person you need to become." Sign 5. The thing you lost was keeping you stuck. This is the sign people misunderstand the most, because it feels like tragedy. You lose the job and think your career is over. You lose the relationship and think love has disappeared. You lose the plan and believe the future collapsed. But look closer. How long had that job been draining you before it ended? How long had that relationship been slowly exhausting you? How long had that plan been keeping you safe instead of moving you forward? Sometimes what we mourn the most was already quietly limiting our lives. A ceiling disguised as a home, a comfort zone disguised as stability, a familiar cage disguised as security. Life didn't take something from you, it removed the thing that was keeping you stuck. Sign 6. You're being prepared, not punished. Hard seasons often feel unfair, but difficulty has a pattern. It tends to arrive right before growth. Seneca once said, "Fire tests gold, pressure reveals strength." Think about the people you admire most, not for their success, for their character. Almost every one of them built that character during their hardest seasons, not their easiest ones. Hard seasons don't mean life forgot about you. They often mean life is preparing you for something your current version couldn't yet carry. Sign 7. Something better requires a better version of you. Here is something painful but important. Some things you want today would actually damage you if you receive them too early. The relationship, the responsibility, the opportunity. Timing protects you. The space between wanting something and receiving it is rarely empty. It is preparation. Skills are built. Perspective changes. Identity evolves. So if you feel like you're waiting right now, you may not be forgotten. You may simply be in training. Sign 8. Your foundation is being tested before the weight arrives. Before anything strong is built, its foundation is tested, not after. Before. Pressure reveals whether something can hold weight, and life does the same with people. The difficulties you face today are not random storms, they are structural tests. Life is asking one question: can this person hold what I am about to give them? If the answer becomes yes, everything changes. Final reflection. Life rarely protects you by removing difficulty. It protects you by using difficulty. Closed doors redirect you. Delays shield you. Departures create space. Solitude reveals who you are. Loss removes what was limiting you. Hard seasons forge your character. Waiting prepares your timing, and pressure tests your foundation. The Stoics never asked life to be easier. They asked themselves to see more clearly, because when you see clearly, pain doesn't disappear, but it transforms. From something happening to you into something happening for you, and the person you are becoming through this pain would not exist without it. If this message reached you, subscribe for more Stoic philosophy on resilience, discipline, and inner strength. And tell me in the comments, what moment in your life once felt like destruction, but later became the best thing that ever happened to you? Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today.